What's up, y'all? How we doing? All right, so I'm just gonna wait for a few people to trickle in, hopefully. I've got my trusty tea. I've got my trusty peanut. Woo! All right, guys. So I am starting a little bit later than usual. I had scheduled for our usual 3 p.m. and I had a job this morning. So anyway, long story short, we're here, and I'm actually grateful that Insight Timer allows the time change now to be much quicker within 24 hours, because before you could only do it like 3 days before. Hi guys, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome everybody. Hello from the Peanuts. He's got his little outfit on today. I'm gonna show them how handsome you are. Yeah, you show everybody how handsome you are. He's the handsomest of handsomest. Aren't you, big boy? I love you so much, Bubbles. Hi, guys. Welcome. Peanut says hi. He dressed up for you guys today. You're so handsome, Peanut. Are you showing everybody how handsome you are? Yeah. I love you. Do you like your outfit? It's your favorite, huh? I know, isn't he cute? Hey, Jaya. He is the handsomest of all handsomest. Yeah, it's cold here, so he, not having any fur, needs a little sweater sometimes, even though he doesn't like to put it on. After it, he's like grateful for it. Aren't you, Bubbles? You ready to go to bed? You gonna go to bed? Hi guys, how we doing? Welcome. Just waiting for a few more people to trickle in. Hope you guys had a good week thus far. Whoo, Tim. Hey, how you doing, my man? You always showing up, dude. How we doing, guys? So, while we're waiting for a few people to trickle in, it's so funny. I literally just got a message from someone who follows me on my... So I have 2 Instagram accounts. I have my meditation channel account, which is more like my spiritual business stuff. And I have a private account, which is, you know, me and my acting stuff and sometimes my spiritual stuff. And somebody decided to comment because I finally posted. I was like, hey, I'm doing a live today at 4:30. I'm doing an oracle reading. And somebody actually messaged me and said, gave me like a whole spiel of like how tarot destroyed his sister's life and how he rejects tarot and how he rejects anything that's dark. And I was like, well, I had to tell him. I was like, look, man, first and foremost, I'm really sorry for what happened to your sister and you know, obviously you guys suffered a lot. But I was like, second of all, I didn't say I was doing tarot, even though there's nothing wrong with that. I said I was doing an oracle reading. And I said, also, it is not dark. I work with higher beings such as like the angelic realm. And I was like, third, I don't need your approval and I don't need you to tell me how you feel about what I'm doing. So just unfollow me, man. But sending you light and love. Anyway, it's funny. Peanut, you want to say hi? You're so excited. Yeah, he's got his little outfit on today. He's just showing off. They're just showing off today. So how are we guys doing? So are we ready for this reading today? So for those of you who are new, welcome. I did start my live a little bit later than usual. Hey Anne, nice to meet you. So how it works is I'm going to start off with a group reading so everybody gets something. And then after, if people give donations, I will essentially, you lock your position in, you get a longer reading. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. I will try to get through everybody if you have any questions. And if not, that's also perfectly fine. We can just sit here and chat or just admire Peanut for about 20 minutes because he's just the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole wide world. Oh, a baby girl. He's a baby. Are you going to be hot? It's pretty hot in here, actually. You might be able to take this off. Okay, baby. Go to bed. No, it's bedtime. I love you. Okay. So, let's begin. Let's start the group reading. Sorry, whenever I got my baby, he distracts me. I'm hoping that he distracts you guys too. He's just put his head on my chest. He's just so cute. Do you want to take this off, sweetie? It's a little hot in here, so let's take this off for now. Because you got me, and we got the heater in here. Sorry, he's such a baby. All right, so let's begin, guys. So taking a minute, just sending me your energy. If there's anything that you want to know, just let your spiritual team know. Just ask for a message or something. Peanut, you're going to be annoying. This is not the Peanut show. We can make it the Peanut show. Sorry, guys. Baba. Go bed. If you want to be here, you have to behave. I give you more than enough attention. Okay. All right, so let's see what the message of the week is. I hope you're all having a good week. I had a few abundance things happen this week, which has been nice. A few confirmation about manifesting. About, hey, Vicky, nice to meet you. So it's been fun. I found a penny on the street, and I always say, like, thank you. I always love those little rituals. One of the ones that I've been doing lately, guys, if you guys have financial stuff, which I found somebody mentioned that I thought it was brilliant, that I've been actually practicing myself. Anytime I'm dealing with money or making payments, or, you know, when you get a little bit of that fear when you're looking at your bank account, or you're like, oh God, I got to make this big payment or whatever. This person basically essentially said to go to your heart before you open your bank account, before you do any big payment or anything. And you basically bring safety and security back into your nervous system prior to doing anything. And so I would just sit there. I'm like, I am safe in my abundance. It is safe for me to spend this money. It is safe for me to look in my bank account, whatever it is. And essentially you're setting in that emotional security and peace prior to connecting to your money. And it's, for me, it's been super powerful. I remember when I was younger, I used to freak out looking at my bank account, you know, just going to the bank and like having a look at it. Not as much anymore, but like sometimes we still have trickles of those emotions or traumas even in our system. So little something that I thought might help you guys. If anybody needs it, trust me, it's like super powerful if you do it right. Peanut picked a card for us. So I hope you guys are doing well, though. Oh, there we go. 2 more cards. Nice. And anything else? You're being very distracting. This is no good. Stop looking so cute, though. Ooh, okay, love this. All right, so this is going to be a general reading for everybody. Hey, Alicia, good to see you. CG, yay. All the best people are in the house. Peanut says hi. Hi. Okay, so the first card that we got is clear your space. Okay, so when I'm getting this card, guys, essentially this obviously can mean your actual home. One of the things that I've been doing lately with a lot of my clients is that I've been getting this download to basically clean your house, but energetically. So scan your house. And I essentially go through a meditation where I literally kind of like a sonar or a radar. I scan every room in my house and I trust if I see any dark energy, any stagnant energy. For instance, in my bedroom, I had like a very sad moment that happened when one of my rats passed away. And it was very, very traumatic because he suffocated to death, which was really a horrible experience. And so, you know, every time I looked at that space in my house, there was just like this bad memory. There's this bad energy left behind. And so what I've been doing lately is I've been scanning the house, and then I've been inviting in angelic beings to take their place. So I'm cleaning out all of these lower entities, and then I visualize beings of light or angels, essentially like sitting in certain areas of my house and then blessing my home. So this is something that I really recommend. Anybody can do it, just the intention alone. And I had somebody saying, don't you want to sage and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, look, that's great and it works. But the most powerful thing that you can ever do is literally your intention. Because if you think about if there's a house that is possessed, what does a person do when they go in there? They don't just sage, they don't just put crystals, they confront the being and they kick it out. So the intention itself, the energy itself is what kicks out another energy. So it's time to clear out your space. This can also mean, though, for some of you, could also mean like your mind. It could mean clutter, obviously, like actual physical clutter. It could mean a lot of things, you know. But essentially, you got to trust what that is for you. And that's the message that is coming up for now. Now, gift from God and then overcoming difficulties. So I love this. So what I do feel, it's like when we start blessing ourselves, when we start taking the steps to take care of ourselves and bless our home, or do the things that we know are nurturing and loving towards ourselves, it's almost like we get a little bit rewarded for those things. It's almost like God or the universe starts giving us gifts back because we are doing the work. So one of the things, for instance, that I've been doing is I've been working really hard on my abundance lately. And like things like somebody tipped me $100 and somebody else gave me another $200, and somebody, like, out of nowhere, you know. So in one day I made like $500 for doing nothing, basically, which was very nice. I mean, I worked, but you know what I mean. It was very little work. And so those to me are signs of confirmation that whatever I'm doing is right. And again, like I said before at the opening of this meeting, the putting on my hand and making myself safe in my finances, but also just taking it outside of that. I've been making myself safe in being online and making myself in my power, safe in my power. All these kind of things really do have a ripple effect. So essentially, but the final message of today, it's time to overcome certain difficulties that we've been faced with and that we've been challenged with. So this is the opportunity essentially to really start overcoming those blocks, those obstacles, those things that have been stagnant for a while in your life. It's time to to face them and to overcome them, because once we overcome these things, we essentially open way for new energies to come in, and we can move forward and we can get to where we want to get to. What do you think, Peanut? Doing to him what he's doing to me. I love you so much. Thank you, baby boy. All right, guys. So that is the reading for everybody, and let's begin. If anybody has any questions, feel free. I am ready to take questions. So if anybody wants me just to draw a card or anything like that, now it's the time. And my child here is very child. Sure, Jaya. What's your question? Full moon purge. Yeah, that's right. There is a full moon in Gemini, I think, coming up, which is actually in my sign. You're showing off. So do you have a question, Jaya? Baby boy. You love mommy? Yeah, mommy loves you. No, you had a hiccups. Yes. Okay, so I got Jaya, Vicky, Georgia, and Joe right now. So after Jaya, Vicky, you start typing a question and you can press enter. So just a general reading about career and relationships, like anything I can do to help dysfunctioning in either in those areas. Well, sometimes they're linked, you know, so let's just see. Okay. That did get hot. So we are going to go with that. Let me just write down the names, guys, just 2 seconds, because I'm going to lose the list since we already did Jaya and then Alicia. Okay. So I'm hearing basically, Jay, like you said, there's dysfunction in both of these. Let's see, because it could be a pattern in both. I'm going to give it the cards just a second. Yep. Okay. Interesting. Okie doke. Well, you got 2 major arcana, so this is a major event. So the first one that you got is review and evaluate a favorable assessment of facts. Time to move in a new direction. The second card that you got is events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over. Many things happening at once. And then the final card is the Chariot. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. So Jay, what I'm hearing here essentially is that you need to change something. Sorry, my hamster is being... You need to change something, okay? Whatever is happening right now, I'm seeing like a cycle or a pattern or a repetition. So when things both in like a certain situation aren't working, there's something that essentially, possibly I'm hearing subconsciously, that I think this is all linked to something to your past, and it's just remanifesting time and time again in different areas of your life. When this happens, essentially this is just shadow work. So what I'm hearing here is that something within you needs to change in order for the outside to change. And this could mean very simple things like thinking patterns, or it could mean, usually it starts with thinking and emotional stuff. So it's like, if I don't believe that I can create a healthy relationship, guess what? If, you know, when we're manifesting or when we're creating, which we're doing it all the time, what do you believe in? But also what you don't believe in is very important. I don't believe that I'm worthy. I don't believe that I can do this. I don't believe that I'm capable. Those kind of things that we tell ourselves time and time again literally become prophecies over time. So what I'm hearing here is that you really got to make some changes with the way that you see yourself and the world. When you change that, the things that you look at change. And unfortunately, I think you have something in your past, which, by the way, we all do. But that is the programming that you have that is keeping things repeating over and over again. Once you start making those changes, though, events are moving at a fast pace, and then you got the Chariot. So it's a lot of movement. Like, it's not like you're actually as stuck as you think you are. It's just that you got to make those changes. So what I'm seeing here is that once you make those changes, things will actually start changing pretty fast for you. But you got to do the rituals. You got to do the work. And the work could mean start doing affirmations in the mirror, start doing daily affirmations, changing the way that you talk to yourself. And by the way, guys, if you hate affirmations, you're probably the person who should do it the most. What you resist persists, and what you resist is most likely the thing that you need the most. So rewiring, reprogramming your brain. So if you attract shitty relationships, you got to start believing that you are worthy of a good relationship. So that means start thinking in that place. It's like, start treating yourself with respect. Start, you know, talking to yourself differently. Because again, the relationship that you have with yourself is the relationship oftentimes that we manifest through others. So if I'm abusing myself, we might not even know that we're doing it, by the way. That's why it's subconscious. But if I'm abusing myself in a way or another, I attract, unfortunately, people sometimes that abuse me too, because I allow it, because I'm already doing it to myself. Or if I don't value myself, I'm going to attract people who are not going to value me back. So we got to start looking, and one of the ways that you're going to know this, look at your relationships, look at your life outside the mirror. Everything on the outside is a mirror of what's going on the inside. And this is not, by the way, to blame you. This is not your fault, okay? Let's just make that very clear. This is not a time to go, well, you know, of course I don't want to beat myself up and treat myself like shit. Nobody does. But you might not be aware of the fact that you might be doing that because of programming. We're easily programmed. So at the end of the day, my love, what I'm hearing here for you is make the changes internally. The outside will change. You got to stop doing what you're doing. You got to stop talking to yourself like down to yourself. You got to stop not believing that you can do something or cannot do something. You just got to start telling yourself is like, look, I know I can get better. And it starts with the way, being aware of the way that I'm treating myself and changing that. And of course, having boundaries. Once you start doing that, I promise you things will change on the outside. And it will change fast, which is what we want to hear. Like, I like it when things change fast, but it can also be a minute of adapting. Cool. So, Vicky, you're next, my love. Work reading for me. I'm thinking of moving abroad to teach English. Cool. Will that be a good idea? You're welcome, Jaya. Okay, so let's find out. Okay, that one. Peanut. What do you think, honey? You're a handsome boy. You do this. He's so happy whenever he's here with me. He actually, like, if I don't let him in the room, he'll sit outside my door, the poor thing. And so I come out. Sometimes I've been in here for hours, and he's just, like, sitting there quietly. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were out there. I thought you were downstairs. But I've got guinea pigs running around and stuff, so I'm worried. I mean, he stays here, but, you know, can't trust him with them. Oop, there it is. Oop, there it is. Okay. Cool. Committed romantic relationship, being swept off your feet. Situational topic that makes your heart flatter. Flutter. I mean, not flatter. Makes it flat. I just recently got accused of being a flat earther. Somebody in the comments. I mean, people's comments are hilarious. Stay determined and move forward. Be prepared for any possible environment. Activism. An excellent opportunity. Hi, Carla. An excellent opportunity will be offered to you. Scholarship or the pursuit of an education. Time to go to work. So it looks like it's definitely in your favor. I see movement. I think this is something that excites you. Something that actually is like, it's part of your passion. There's nothing, whenever we follow our true passion, it's always a good thing. Because even though that might not be the end result, it's going to lead to something else that will be. So it's a little romanticized, I will say, though, because when I get this one, it's like, I see it's like in your mind. Of course, right now, it's this like beautiful fantasy. It's going to be hard work, though, just FYI, not to destroy the fantasy. Have the fantasy, because it's like anything. Once you like have this dream about what it's going to be, and then you get into it and you're like, it's a lot harder than I thought it would. I mean, you know, it can destroy a little bit of that magic sometimes, but that's completely normal. Peanut, you got to stop. You stop being so cute. So this is going to plant seeds for the future, though, for sure. This is something that it's going to help you with, again, planting a seed for your future. So there is something in this. And I always think about Bashar when I think about following your passion, right? Which I love that about him. It's like you can't fail when you follow your passion, truly follow it, but you have to take action. And then from this, you know, it's a school. Like you said, literally, you want to go and teach English. I mean, there's a girl surrounded by books and scholarship and opportunity. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's definitely telling you to go for it. It's like something that it's in your heart. It's a calling that it's for you, and just understand it's going to be, the reality will set in a little bit, but it still doesn't take away that it's going to be a magical experience for you. So yeah, go for it, man. How exciting for you. Best of luck on your trip. Georgian? What did I say? Yeah, you're welcome. I think it's Georgia. Yeah, it's Georgia. What's your question? Peanut. Peanut. Yes. Chihuahuas, the best dogs ever. Georgia, you still here? Itchy nose. I got a pimple here today. I'm like, Hi, have been really sad and lonely. Anyone new coming in? Aw, I'm sorry, sweetie. So let's find out. Okay. I'm looking forward to Christmas, by the way. I need a break, I think. I'm planning on resetting my goals for next year. Okay, relax. Jesus Louises. Jesus Louises. Okay? Jeez. Slow it. I'm getting angry at the cards. Aw, okay. So, sweetie, you're very sensitive, okay? So sensitivity came up. And when people are very sensitive, everything is a little more amplified than most people experience. More than the usual sadness and holidays due to grief. One of my besties is leaving the country with her son and is hitting me hard. Yeah. Well, that makes sense also why you'd feel lonely, right? So there's like a sense of abandonment happening, even though it's not like she's leaving you consciously and she has to, maybe for whatever reason. But there's abandonment. So essentially, what I'm hearing here is that, you're very sensitive and you're very emotional and you're very attached to certain things. And when you're that sensitive, unfortunately, everything is just freaking amplified. So, like your friend leaving, it doesn't just feel like your friend leaving, it feels like your friend is abandoning you. Although you still love them, there's not really as much resentment, but now that you don't have that bond and that connection with somebody else, or it's very hard to rebuild that. So, what I'm hearing here is that sadness that is coming up, it's because you really just got to be okay. Unfortunately, you just got to go through it right now. And it's part of it's also like accepting the fact that you're sensitive, because oftentimes in this world, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have had those parents who's like, you're too sensitive. I'm like, yeah, and, like, it's okay to be sensitive. There's nothing wrong with that. We need sensitive people in this world. But it's tough for you guys because it's hard for people to like know what to do or how to support you, because you guys are usually the ones supporting everybody else. That's your sensitivity. So what I'm hearing here is really, Georgia, you got to give yourself time to really grieve and just go through the emotions right now, but trusting that it will pass. It's not going to feel like this forever. You're not going to be lonely forever. Change, one thing is guaranteed about this planet, is that change will happen. Something will change. But one of the things about sensitive people is that sometimes we also like to dwell in our pain and in our suffering, because many reasons could be. Maybe it just validates the bond that we had with somebody. It validates the situation, whatever the story is, right? So it's inviting you right now to go through it, feel it, but then don't get attached to it. Don't allow yourself to get into this vortex where you're just like sad all the time and just allowing your emotions to dictate your choices and your actions, because then it's going to create depression, and you don't want that. And you might already be on the verge of depression, or if not already there. We don't want that, okay? So the second thing that they're saying is clear your space, clear your energy. How do we do that? When something is taken from you, you got to start giving it to yourself. And the truth of the matter is that when you are already full, nothing can really be taken. So it's really revealing to you maybe something that is missing with yourself, a part of you, like that relationship, that bond that you might have with yourself, that you do have with your bestie, but somehow you can't give it to yourself. Of course, we're social creatures, we need each other, and it's nice to have good relationships. I'm getting all that. I'm not taking away that from the relationship, but sometimes there are things that we need to start healing or upgrading about us. Hey, Catherine, nice to see you again. So clearing the space essentially for you, what I'm hearing is clearing out all these negative beliefs or habits or emotional patterns that you have imprinted. Like maybe, okay, this person's leaving, now I'm going to be like alone forever. And that's not the truth. Especially being a sensitive person, like I said, like I mean, depending on the sensitivity, obviously, because some people I'm like, all right, you're I'm a hard person. Sometimes I'm extremely sensitive, but I'm also very hard. So I need somebody who can handle that. But I also appreciate that so much, so there's so much that you have to give. There is so much like something so special about you, Georgia, because when we're sensitive, it's just such a beautiful gift, especially in such a harsh world. And I'm harsh, by the way, as a coping mechanism, because I was so incredibly sensitive. I built up an armor and 20 bazookas and 5 swords in the process. And now I have to like pull down my armor sometimes. But like, you have something to give, Georgia. So this is an opportunity for you to start shifting your energy, your pain, alchemizing it into something where you can be of service, because that's the best way sensitive people feel. They have value, they have a purpose, they have a place to be. And that's for you to discover what that could be. It could be, I mean, I've done things like I've volunteered for animal stuff. I volunteered, homeless stuff. Like I try to find things where I meet people who are within the realm that I think I would like to be around. And that's usually how I meet the right people for me, because you want people who are just as sensitive as you. So don't, just because you're losing one friend doesn't mean you can't make any other friends, doesn't mean that you can't go anywhere, that you can't do anything. So have your moment, feel your emotions, allow the pain to be there, but then get back up and start choosing something new. The final message that you got is remember who you are. Okay, and remembering who you are is that you are powerful, you are loving, and you are a child of the universe or God or whatever you believe in. So there is something very special about you. You're not losing anything. Even though it feels that way because of attachments. And we have to be very careful of attachments, guys, because attachments cause suffering. When we are so attached to something and it's gone, we feel like a part of us is missing. So again, I'm not taking away the reality of those emotions, but we also have to be careful towards these attachments. And like, just because somebody's gone doesn't mean they're really gone. You know, sometimes yes, but sometimes no. So there is something here that you can do, but just take your time, process. But again, remember to get back up. Don't dwell in it. Do something outside of your comfort zone if necessary. Maybe you've always had an inspiration, like you passed some place and you're like, oh, I always thought I should volunteer that or do this, or I always thought I should take an art class. Whatever your thing is, right? Do it. This is the time to do it. So don't allow the sadness to take over. Okay? Do you think it's better to be vulnerable and have to deal with the pain that can come from that? Or be shielded up with an armor and protected, but maybe not feel as much as you could? That's a great question, Lloydie. So when I say that I'm shielded, it doesn't mean I don't feel. It means I have very strong boundaries now as to the crap that I will put up with. While as before, I was in rescue mode. So even if somebody was being disrespectful or mean or cold, I was always like, oh no, it's okay. Like, I will rescue you. So, see, Georgia, I knew it. That's awesome. I'm excited for you. So go for it, because I promise you, Georgia, especially when you're depressed, the best thing you can do is show up for other people. It's going to get you out of your depression so quickly, and somebody's going to say thank you, and you're going to finally feel like, you know, that light coming back. So I'm excited for you. But again, it depends, you know, Loni. I think it just depends on the situation. I mean, there's something that you got to assess. So for instance, if I'm around my family, I have a little bit of both. You know, I have that massive shield because I have to, because I always get hurt around them. It's just a pattern. But at the same time, I'm aware enough where I'm not lashing out and hurting people. It's my favorite saying is like warrior fist and monk heart. So there are Shaolin monks who are literally practicing the most peaceful type of meditation and practices, but they are warriors. Like, they'll kill you. You know what I mean? So it's just knowing that having this armor as a protection gives me power, so that I feel strong and secure walking into something, but I'm not walking in going, don't talk to me. You know what I mean? It's a very different energy. So it's more like, if you cross a line, it's not going to go well for us. And it's a good energy to have. It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever met somebody who can fight. There's like a calmness to them, and then somebody's like yelling in their face, and you're looking at them as like, oh, they're going to F them up. Because you know that person can fight, because the person who can fight, genuinely like kill you physically with their hands, they're not even going to like, you know, they're going to walk away. Usually there's like, dude, you don't want this. Trust me, this is not something that you want. So that's the kind of energy that I'm trying to get to with that. It's like, I'm so at peace that I'm like, you can come at me and I've got this armor, but I can also open up at the same time. Still learning the balance, by the way. I'm not quite there yet, but I love that idea. Warrior fist and monk heart. All right, sorry, Joe, I got your message. Feeling my way after losing our daughter last year, age 43, to cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry, Joe. That's so sad. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so let's see which cards wants to come up. That's a hard one, sweetie. I'm so sorry, but I will say, I don't know if you've watched a lot of, one of the things I always find personally just very comforting, it might not be comforting to you, the near-death experiences is like, I love those because it really, so many people who have crossed over and then come back, they tell you that it's beautiful on the other side, that they're still connected to their families and loved ones. So I don't know, for me, that is something that really gives me hope. And it helps me with, first and foremost, death in general, crossing over, but understanding that there are things that we just do not understand about this life and what's on the other side. So let's see what they have to say. These cards are coming up a lot today for some reason. Okay. So beginning to set clear intentions, okay? So be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. And then we got patience, which unfortunately we don't like that card. But your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience, and then victory, okay? Your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. So with the crystal clear intentions, I think what I'm hearing here is like essentially, obviously, it makes sense, obviously, because you've had such a tragic loss and it's been so painful. A lot of our energy and focus is kind of like trying not to, we think about the event often. We often go back in time. What if I could have, or should have, or would have, the things that I could have changed, not changed. So I think what I'm hearing here essentially, Joe, is that there's a lot of your energy that going into the pain and the suffering of the event, which obviously it's very understandable. I'm not obviously trying to take that away from you, but it's something that has now happened. And what I'm hearing is now it's time to redirect your focus. Forgiving whatever you need to forgive. We can't go back to the past and change what's happened, but because of our past, we can change our future. We can change who we are. We can change who we were going to become. And sometimes these events can really change us from the core and make us much better people to be of service, to honor the ones that have passed in some way or another. So what I'm hearing here is, first and foremost, because have patience is not going to happen overnight, which is why the patience card come up. But start to shift your intentions in the sense of start shifting your focus towards the actual healing of it and not so much the loss. Looking at this is how the life goes. Like, this is how life goes. Things come and go. Interesting. Agree with focus on the future. Shift intentions. Yeah. So when you look at your future, and sometimes it helps also to think, it's like, what would my daughter want me to think and feel right now? Like, what would she want for my future, and how can I honor her that way as well? Because maybe there's something that she's always wanted you to do or say, or maybe start an art class or make a painting. And that could shift your intention into shifting this pain into a love practice, into a love. It's like establishing a new relationship with her, but no longer through the pain. Because I know if I've transitioned and my mother was upset about it, at some point I'm going to tell her, like, listen, we get it. I love you, but can you, it would hurt me that she's in so much pain. It's like, it's done, I'm gone, but I'm still here. And I love this card because I feel like, she's like the trumpet up in the sky speaking up to God or the universe or your daughter. I do think that they're listening, and I do think that we have a connection. So talk to her as well, but it's like, hey, what can we do together now that you are on the other side? Like, give me signs, like make it somehow a blissful experience. Who is it that there's this woman called so bad with names. She is a neuroscientist. She wrote a book. Anyway, she wrote a book essentially, like, her husband passed. And she's a scientist, by the way. She's like got all of the science background. She's on it, Robin. I love you. Oh my God. Dr. Tara Swart. She's on it. I love it. So I would highly recommend, Joe, that you look at her. She did an episode, I think it was on the School of Greatness, where she talks about asking her husband for signs, and she was devastated. And now it's become the most beautiful experience because she talks to her husband every day. He sends her signs every day. So she's realized, yeah, of course, we grieve the sadness of the physical connection and the emotional and the speaking to them. But what she realized is, like, he's always with her. And so she created a new relationship with him, because oftentimes when people transition, that's really the thing that we need to grieve. It's the change of the relationship, the change of the dynamic. They're no longer in physical form, but they're still here. So how can you change this relationship with your daughter and make it a blissful relationship so that she can be also proud of you and happy to be on this journey with you? And what can you guys create together? And how can she show you something fun and you get to play this game? And like you said, you feel her presence. Yes, you know what I mean? So making that decision, all right, I've grieved, I felt enough pain. Now let's transform this. Let's alchemize this into a loving relationship, the best relationship that we've ever had, moving on. And let's create something fantastic together and show me signs. And oftentimes when we even open up our energy, it's like we can receive the messages much better. But when we're grieving, everything is tight and shut down. So they might be sending us messages, but we're not seeing them. So there has to be that change, that shift. And I am seeing a change happen for you once you do this. So play the game. Do me a favor, write down her name, Dr. Tara Swart. She talks a lot about her husband being on the other side. And I think this is something also that you can begin to look into, because she goes into detail on how to do that. And it's going to be so much fun. There's also a book called Signs, which is all about people who have crossed over and how they receive signs from them all the time. So change the relationship with your daughter now so that you can have that bond still, and change it into something beautiful and magical. Does that make sense? Yeah, what's her book, by the way? Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, I didn't read the whole way through because I felt like it was a bit repetitive for me, but I appreciated it and I enjoyed the little read that I did. Some books I just cannot finish, but I know for some people that book can be like really powerful. All right, so I'm gonna go to Alicia. Okay, Joe, embracing you in hugs and healing. I have had a near-death experience and was sent back from the cosmos by my grandmother. Have lost 2 brothers since. You can communicate with your past over loved ones. When sitting in silence, begin by holding her photo close to your heart, and you will soon find she begins to communicate. This is how I began communicating with my brothers now. They just come through easy. I love that. Aw. Okay, so Alicia, do you have a question as well? Okay, so I have Alicia next in line, and then Fiona. Alicia, do you have a question, my love? Do 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 do. I'm gonna start singing for you guys. Peanut loves my singing. Yes, please. You like my background, Mimi? Thank you so much. I do not. I've been changing that background so many times. It's just not doing it for me still. I appreciate it though. Yeah. It's just not what I want it to be yet, you know? I did the gold foil thing up there. But yeah, it's just not doing it for me for some reason. It's just not there yet. I don't know. But I appreciate it though. It makes me feel better about it. Yeah, I love the plants and I love the books, but I don't know what it is. Something, just something. Yes, please, just in regards to beginning an energy healing and spiritual coaching business next year. Very cool. All right, let's see what comes up. Excuse me. Okay. I got the hiccups. Yeah. I don't know, in my mind, I had way more high expectations of my backdrop. I think I'm delusional when it comes to this. I've changed it like 3 times now. Every time I'm like, it's better. I don't know. I think I want like that really luxurious, like the shelves with like the little LED lights, but like the budget is insane. Oh, okay. Jeez Louise. Alright. Cool. So, interesting. I love it. So, we got the warlocks, the dragons, the star fairies, and the shapeshifters. So, the warlocks invite you to see the truth, even if it is painful and dark and mysterious. Do not be afraid, for fear will only control you. Instead, acknowledge the shadows within you, and from there, choose who you want to become. Avoiding the truth will only cast more shadows. So, Tim's like, yeah, dragons! So, what I'm hearing here essentially with the warlocks is... I don't feel like you're not ready to do it or anything like that, but what I am hearing is like being aware of like starting a business. I think the shadow aspects of a business, I think we get very excited about a business, but then there are things that we have to obviously overcome and face. So what I'm hearing here, and I'm not saying that this is something that you're not aware of. What I'm hearing here though is like something that you are definitely going to have to face when it comes to this. So, and it could also often reflect in upgrading your spiritual practice. I know for myself, for instance, everything that I do here, I'm constantly learning, because if I don't, I feel myself plateau. So I'm not sure why this is coming up for you, but it's something about like he's studying, right? He's studying like sacred texts. He's reading sacred books. He's doing the energetic work. So essentially what I'm hearing is like, there could be energy clearing needed to be made of some sort, or there needs some sort of upgrade within the spiritual practices or something. But a lot of the times this is like the shadow aspect. So the parts of us that resist maybe the abundance, that resist the wealth or the clients coming in, or that resist something. And again, it's subconscious. I don't think it's something that you're doing it on purpose, but if you want the business to thrive, what I'm hearing is those are the areas that will help it grow, basically. So when we look at the shadows, oftentimes then we can cast more light. Now, we love this. This is a great card, by the way. The incarnated dragons are actually great business people. So most entrepreneurs, like very successful entrepreneurs, many of them are in fact incarnated dragons. So keepers of treasures and secrets, holding a deepest knowledge of the world, a great treasure lies within you, waiting to be discovered. It's time to step into your power fearlessly and unapologetically. Embody the energy of the dragon, and you will realize that you are capable of accomplishing anything. So Alicia as well, I think this goes hand in hand with the warlocks, right? So healing the parts of us that feel unworthy, that don't believe that we can or cannot do this, and then stepping into our power, knowing what we are truly capable of and what we are really worthy of. So really not being afraid of being that person who believes in themselves and who is like, I got this. And of course, this comes with a lot of naysayers sometimes, you know. So be careful, of course, who you tell, who you have around you, because people are very quick to tear us down or put us down for whatever reason. And it can get to you sometimes, you know. So being in your power and understanding what that means and really stepping into it is going to help you with your business being very successful. You did also get 2 more things. So you got the star fairies. The star fairies are really all about stepping out of your comfort zone. So this is going to step you out of your comfort zone. So starting this business, I think, again, we have an idea of how it's going to go, but then we realize we're going to have to take a left and another right and go upwards and downwards. So it's really going to make you stretch out of your comfort zone and do things that normally you wouldn't do. And it's asking you to shapeshift. It's asking you literally to be more adaptable and flexible. So again, all of these qualities put together is going to give that recipe for the business to do really well. So rigidity and being stubborn about certain things is not exactly going to help it. Sometimes we need to, as long as we know, like sometimes it's important to like, I know this is right. And that's a different to being, I'm not willing to compromise something. So yeah. I'm just seeing if anything else is coming through. No, that's it. So does that make sense? I hope it made sense. Yeah, this card, guys, is sick. Look at it. It's the coolest card ever. She's like, come to me, dragon. I will pet you. Embrace your inner dragon. Yes. I love dragons. They're fun. 1 second. Keats! Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Hey. 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 Keats. Keats, no bark. Hey! Stop it. No bark. No bark. I said no bark. Thank you very much. Sorry, guys. What are you gonna do if somebody breaks in anyway? Are you just gonna yell at them and think that they're gonna fix? Okay, so moving on, I guess. Alicia, I don't see your message back, but I think that's fine. So, Fiona, you're next. Piñata. Totally makes sense. Need to believe, but I am worthy more of the gifts. I have to do the shadow work around that, remove the self-doubt that I often feel. Yes, absolutely, Alicia. And look, self-doubt is normal. You're going to have moments of that, but I think when we release the blocks and start really like, you know, I always watch so many people who have started businesses, entrepreneurs and all that sort of stuff, because it's inspirational, because none of them are going to say, oh yeah, I started a business and everything worked out and I made millions of dollars. It's like, no, they had to overcome and readjust and adapt and learn and grow. So I think that's the reality of making a business. And I think if people don't adapt and grow, then nothing happens, because you are the business and you are a reflection of the business. So there's some guy. Sorry guys, my hamster, she's old lady. She looks like she needs some help. Kevin Trudeau. He was part of the secret societies, and he talks a lot about like even energy, you know, and how he's always lucky, but you know, it's all about energy. You know, when we do business as well, it's like one thing when you do it for the money. Of course, we like the money, but it's really the energy of genuinely wanting to help people and the intention behind it of being of true service. So there's so many layers to it, and there's always going to be more and more layers to uncover. So what are you going to do, Peanut? Sometimes I just want to bite him. You know, when somebody's like, I just want to bite you. So yeah, but you got this. But just don't be afraid to do the work. And essentially, like, the shadow came up. So the things that sometimes we don't want to look at or admit, those are the things that are going to basically like help us like move forward. And especially in business, like head on, just confront it. Yeah. What do you think, handsome? Peanut agrees. Okay, Fiona, are you still there? Do you still have a question? No, I don't. I don't want the kiss in the mouth. You. Do you love me? How much? All of the peanuts? I'm not sure if Fiona's still here. She probably checked out. Is Fiona still here? He just looks at me like, oh, baby boy. I know, I love you too. Cool. Well, if anybody else has any more questions, then feel free, or we can just all stare at Peanut and just look at his adorable. Oh, stop. I love it when he does this, when he does the. Can you do that? Can you do it again? Can you do it for money? Do it for me. Show him. Show him how cute you are. Do it again. Like this. Okay, well, fine. Don't do it then. Reverse psychology. Yeah, Mimi, for sure. You gonna do Mimi a card? Okay, let's go. No, let's go downstairs. Let's go here. All right, let's see what comes up. I'm feeling these ones. What's up, Peanut? You need to relax. No. He's grabbing my... Ooh. Challenges and problems, Mimi. What's going on? They're going up a hill at the moment. A mental hill, apparently. Oh. Okay. Okay, so first card we got is challenges, problems. So overcoming, or I don't know, like going up a hill, which is hard enough, and then the swords often means like mind thoughts or beliefs or patterns or whatever, like obstacles or things that you need to overcome right now. So there could be a lot of negative self-talk or something. And then we got again the swords and the ego, but we did get this one, which we love, enjoying the outcome. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but I do feel like you're still going through some kind of a challenge. Something is like, and I feel like you're removing obstacles, to be quite honest. Like the challenges that are coming at you are really like revealing themselves so that you can heal them and move on, so that you can get to this. Okay, this is the outcome, this is the goal, and everything around it is just the things that are in the way, essentially. One of the biggest things, though, that comes up whenever we get the ego card, this is really the card about attachments, belief systems. I'm in the process of completing my book and business. Well, that probably makes sense, because like when you build anything, it's just like overcoming problem after problem after problem, right? It's like just pushing through a little bit more, just getting to that next step, just getting to that next level, just getting through the next thing, so that you can finally like relax and enjoy the abundance that comes through, which is great, because that is definitely there. The other thing that I'm hearing here is like, again, just be mindful of the internal obstacles as well as, of course, the external. So the external are not really as much of a problem as we think they are, as more the internal problem. So you and I can face the same problem, but if I have a positive attitude and you have a shitty attitude, I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just giving an example here. Guess who's more likely gonna get out of it much faster, and who's gonna like overcome it much quicker? Obviously the person who's more positive, or who believes in themselves, or who isn't attached to certain things, whatever it may be. So I feel like it's actually pretty good for you, to be quite honest, but the shadow stuff that's coming up essentially is like overcoming these little bits and pieces. And just be aware of your attachments to certain beliefs. So it's like, oh, this is so hard, I can't do this. Or again, you know, this is happening again when I just fixed it. Like just little things like that, which can slow down the speed of the process, because essentially like we're believing something is more of a problem than it actually is. And it's meant to appear that way because our ego wants to slow us down from achieving where we want to go and the success that we're ready for. But I do see the ending for you, and I do see you chilling with that cocktail on a beach surrounded by money, girl. So you seem like you're doing pretty good. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. But understand that it does take all of this to get to that. You know, it's like those bits and pieces. And again, the ego is just like the mind stuff. Just be aware of what you're telling yourself, okay? Don't allow that crappy talk to dictate your choices. Check in with yourself and go, is this something that I want to believe? And would the Mimi version of me, who's already successful, who's already making a shitload of money, who's already has a running business that's doing really well, what would she tell me right now? What advice would she give me right now when she already has the answers? So those are the kind of thoughts that we want to shift into, which is quantum leaping, of course. And we have the answers, and a lot of the time we don't want to either A, do it because it's too hard, or B, it's a change and we don't want to change. We are comfortable in our pain and in our suffering, so we're just going to cling on to that because it validates my suffering, as opposed to like, pick your freaking pants up, or I don't know what the term is, like get your shoes on and just keep going. So that's the only thing that I'm seeing for you, Mimi. It's like, just be aware of that mental old programming. Don't listen to it anymore, and step into your future self, the version of you that is already enjoying the outcome, that's already successful. Imagine yourself already making millions of dollars. Like, the version of you that's already successful and already has all that money thinks very differently to the version of you that is struggling, obviously. But it's like, that's how we got to really think, because that's who we're becoming. So if I already have millions of dollars, is this really a problem? Not really. There's always a solution to it. I just got to find it. So even energetically, your reaction to it, instead of constricting, is like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem, I'll figure it out. Like, it's not even a thought. So that's why I think the ego came us to just be aware of that, because that can be your setbacks, and it's just slowing down the process for you to finish all of this. So don't allow that to happen, basically. Cool. But I'm excited because it looks like it's good. Peanut is mostly, he is Chihuahua. I think he is part, they said, miniature pincher and Pomeranian, apparently he has in him, which who knows. But I would say 50 pit bull and 50 Chihuahua. Yeah, I think you think you're a pit bull. Yeah, he's proud of the pit bull. It's like, hello, can you not see the pit bull here? He's my little baby boy. Yeah. He's a mama's boy. Ain't your mommy's boy? You love mommy. Cool. Oh, Carla. Hey, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Oh, thanks, Tim. Do you have a question, my love? Is it for Peanut? For the cuteness? That's okay, Fiona. I will still give you a reading. I'm just going to give it to Tim now because he's given a donation. How is Peanut? I know, dude. He actually came to me. The story of how I got Peanut is crazy. He's obviously a rescue. Tim, you just want to hang out, don't you? Just look at Peanut being cute. He's like, look at him. He sleeps on my chest. Don't do that. What if I licked your face? Would you like that? Yeah, you would, actually. That's a dumb question. Okay, Fiona, so do you have a question? Since Tim has been very generous and let you go first. He's total sucker, yeah. He is. But he's tough. Like, Chihuahuas, man, they are tough. He will not back down in a fight. He's the alpha of the house, especially with my other dog. I respect the Chihuahua power. Chihuahua power! Peanut's just gonna steal the show. Your future work? Okay, let's find out. I feel like these ones. Peanut, you got slobber all over me. You're a grotty. No. I love you, dudes. I love you. Ooh, okay, right, whatever. These are cool. Okay. Nice. Okay. So the first card that you got is Strength. Great inner strength, release harsh judgments, forgiveness and compassion. The next one is expecting the worst, self-fulfillment prophecies, sleepless nights. And then you got the Chariot, an important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. So Fiona, what is called here for you is to step up, to be a little bit stronger when it comes to your future work, in the sense of be careful, again, guys, with the negative thinking. It's like sometimes we desire something, but if we don't feel like we're worthy of it, we play mind games with ourselves and we can say, oh, but something like that would never happen to me. Or who am I to think that? Or, you know, I don't know what the story is, right? So what I'm hearing here is releasing self-judgment, releasing also judgment from others. I don't know what the job that you are looking to do in your future work, but like being strong and just honoring what you want and just going after it and being strong in that. Okay, so even in your thoughts, even in your beliefs, and I know the world can show you maybe a very different reality, but that's not how manifestation works. It all starts from within and then it manifests on the outside. So starting to inherit that strength and not believing the shitty talk. Start believing that you can do it, that you can learn, that you can grow. Somebody else has done it, so can I. I just got to figure out what it is. And just, again, being very aware of those negative thoughts and not worrying so much about it, like trusting that you can work it out, because there's worry behind it as well. And that worry also continues the negative thinking and the negative cycle. But I do see something change for you in the future. So I see movement forward. I see you in the direction. It is a major arcana. So an important achievement, self-discipline and willpower. So as long as you got self-discipline and willpower, as long as you stay focused, you can do it. Not sure, again, what the job is that you want, or if you want to change job or whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. The point is, if you stay disciplined and focus and you internally commit to yourself as well and not believing the bullshit from the outside world or the negative talk, then you can get it. But that's the things that you have to change. And when you start changing those things, then things will work out in your favor as well. And they'll move fast, because the Chariot is always like fast movement. Things are moving fast. Does that make sense? Cool. And then finally, Timmy, what's going on, love? There's something my grandpa wants me to hear. He died a couple of years ago. Right now, I'm wondering if there's something I need to let go of, or some energy I'm avoiding that I need to acknowledge this month. Oh, nice. Massage and acupuncture. That's amazing. Yeah, so bring the focus and start believing, you know, Fiona. Willpower, commitment, and shifting that mindset is going to make big changes. Okay, so I'm not a medium, but we'll see. I tried to connect to him. I told him that he can channel to me and through me any information. So let's see what comes up for you, Tim. You're welcome, Fiona. But just remember those negative thoughts. Oops. Oh yeah, I forgot to add this, by the way, guys. I actually updated it. So there's a new course, by the way, guys, especially for those of you who are starting businesses. It should be here. There it is. You guys can check out that course if you want. That's a great one to quantum leap, to shift reality. There's a little bit of science in there as well. Hey, Munchkin. Okay. Oop. You got protection, temptation, and solitude. So, when I hear the protection card, what I heard is that you got to give yourself a little bit stronger boundaries, Tim. I think you're, what I heard is like you're very generous and kind, and sometimes I think you get taken advantage of a little bit. Um, so I think what he wants you to do, or what the cards are saying anyway, it's like you got to learn to have like a little bit more stronger boundaries, because it, number one, protects you from like attracting vampires or people who take advantage or all that sort of stuff. And number two, it also attracts the right people towards you. Um, I've historically been a yes man for sure. Yeah. So also, when we don't have strong boundaries, in a way, we don't respect ourselves, and then people automatically don't respect us back. And again, this is not done consciously. Like, we think we're being very giving and we think we're being like so kind and we're just helping out. But what most people unfortunately see is that they could see like weakness. And people who don't have self-respect within themselves, they take advantage of that weakness, which is genuinely just kindness. But also, Tim, as a man, when you have strong boundaries and you have strong self-respect, that's very attractive, just so you know. Most women love that in a guy, and I know you've been wanting to attract a relationship and that kind of thing. So when men hold certain strong values and boundaries and have like a clear direction, that is very attractive to women, because they're the containers, right? They're the ones who set the safety for the women. So if you can't keep yourself safe, you can't keep the woman safe. I was halfway surprised the lover card didn't pop up again. Well, you got the temptation card, so don't you worry. She's there. So remembering that, right? So when you have these strong values, when you have these strong boundaries, it gives also a woman safety as well. It makes her feel safe in your presence, because it makes her feel like you're going to protect her. There was a couple of times, for instance, my husband is a very nice person. He does not like confrontation. And there was this one time that something happened where I felt like these guys were flirting with me. And not that I expect him to step in, but he was so unaware of the situation that it made me feel very unsafe. And, you know, I had to obviously, like, luckily I have that in myself where I can put those boundaries down. But in general, women with men, they love the idea that the person can keep them safe. I can't remember where I was going with my husband. I'm sure that was going somewhere, and then I just lost trail of my thought. But the point is that start bringing up those boundaries. Oh, okay. So when I see my husband, though, he has strong boundaries in other areas, that to me is super attractive, and it makes him look very empowered and strong and masculine energy. Even though he's a very feminine energy, my husband, he's very soft and gentle, but he has very masculine, strong qualities to himself. He's very stubborn in his ways, and he won't let me, for instance, walk all over him, which I very much respect and appreciate, because I would not respect him in that department, right? So again, Tim, these are things that I'm hearing that you need to start implementing. So start looking in the places where you normally would say yes, but you're doing it really to get something from someone, and you're not doing it out of like, do I really want to do this? This is something that I feel like doing right now. The other one is temptation, okay? So be careful of temptation, because again, if you don't have strong boundaries, guess what? You're easily tempted. Right? So if you don't have strict rules, if you don't know how to say yes or no, you're going to get tempted, and you're going to get tempted and take it down the wrong road, and then you wonder why you got there again, because you didn't have those strong boundaries, because you didn't put yourself first, or you didn't value yourself enough. And then you find yourself in these situations where you have to dig yourself out of this hole. You do. Yeah, I can tell, Tim. But again, these are the temptation things that you have to, like, there are so many, like, let's just say money, women, sex, whatever it is, right? There's so much of that out there. There's always going to be a woman who is absolutely stunning and tempting and whatever. But men with strong boundaries, I mean, having said that, not all are like that. There's a whole thing. But the ones that do have strong boundaries, they're very powerful. And they earn a lot of respect. Immediately when I hear of a guy cheating on a woman, I lose respect for him very quickly. because I'm like, yeah, you don't hold strong values. I mean, I get it, you got tempted or whatever, but there's something very powerful about somebody having that, strong boundaries. Every situation is different and things can happen and whatever, but you understand where I'm coming from here. So hold those boundaries. That's what I'm hearing. You need to have stronger boundaries. You need to be able to learn what they are, so that you don't get taken advantage of, so that you don't get walked all over, and so that you can as well attract more of what you want, because within those boundaries there's only so much space within that container. So when we don't have any boundaries, anything and anybody can come in and it's full. We don't have energy to really share to the right people. We're just sharing our energy with everybody. So it's almost like when everything is important, nothing's important. But when you have strong container, the energies that do come in, they really feel important and valued, because you are decided to give them your time and energy. So there's power in that. Then finally, the solitude card. I feel like this one's coming up just saying, like, learn to also be with yourself, but it doesn't mean you have to be lonely. Some people cannot be by themselves. They just get lonely and all this sort of stuff. So the solitude card, essentially, it's like, think of being alone as meaning you are all one. So alone means all one. And in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasure are those that wait silently during the quiet times. So have patience, but learn to be okay with just being with yourself and not thinking of it as I'm alone and I don't have anybody, or, because again, that could also create the no boundaries, because you just want that time or whatever. Having that time is like really getting to know yourself, getting to know your younger self, getting to know your future self, getting to know how you can be truly of service. Because really, honestly, guys, the more you get to know yourself, that is the number one key of any spiritual practice. Know thyself. There's a reason for that. Because when you really know yourself, then you know what you want, you know how you can be of service, and you know what to do. But if you don't know who you are, you're not going to know what you want. You don't know how to help really other people, and then you're just lost. So one thing that I've learned, like simple things, like I've learned for myself that I need a level of structure. I need a certain type of person around me, who's honest and loyal, because I don't deal with the crap. I don't have a lot of patience for people who lie and manipulate. I've attracted that in the past because I've tolerated, because I didn't know who I was. I'm an introvert. I don't like being around too many crowds or people. But even though they're silly things, they're very important things to know about yourself, because now I know how to use my energy at its peak. Whereas before I would go out, meet people, and be drained by the end of the day and have no energy for anything else. That's not great, because then I can't put it into my business or anything else. So now that I understand that about myself, I'm at peace if I don't go out to the party that everybody else is going to. It's like, dude, I'm cool. So it brings self-awareness, and it brings self-choices that direct you very specific ways that can help you, as opposed to I'm still figuring out who I am and where I'm going. But you need to spend time with yourself to figure that out. And sometimes being around people can help too, but it's very important that you learn to know yourself. Start learning about your astrology, your numerology. All these things say a lot about who you are, and it helps you understand who you are. I'm not saying like live by it, but like I'm a number 4 life path. Number 4s need structure. They do very well when they are taught by somebody, when I'm like learning and growing, like we are the foundation. Also, they're very hard workers. They're meant to suffer when it comes to work. We're meant to work hard. Other things, like I'm a projector or whatever, and there's like, it's just fun to know all these things, but there's going to be things that are going to resonate truth to you. And it's like, yeah, I do that. And that's good to know about myself. This is just confirmation. And you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And then you got to honor that, though. Who you are, when you start honoring that, things start working out better for you. You find you have a lot more energy, and you find that you are actually attracting better people, places, and things. But when you're just like, whatever, then whatever comes back. And we don't like that. The friends and the people that I used to attract to the people that I attract now, it's like night and day difference. Very toxic, some of them, very lost, drugs, all sorts of crazy stuff back in the day. Because I was open to that. I was like, yeah, I'm living life, whatever. Let's see what the world is about. But not realizing there's this whole other part of the world that doesn't involve that craziness. And that's what I'm interested in now. So if somebody's like a party, I am, no offense if anybody is, but I'm just genuinely just like, ooh, it's okay. Because I've been around that and it doesn't lead anywhere for me. For some other person who's like an extrovert, who's a people person, who's meant to be out, they could thrive on that. Your own company, you get real picky about who you let into your space. Yeah, absolutely, Tolkien, And again, I was going to try and start this business with a friend of mine, and bless her heart, she's super sweet, she's super nice, but her energy is too floaty for me. And again, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or there's something wrong with you. I know myself so well that I will lose my freaking patience with her because she is just all over the place. She forgets things all the time. And she asked 7 times, when did we have the meeting or not have the meeting? And that stuff pisses me off because I'm not seeing somebody who keeps themselves accountable, who I now have to babysit because you don't know how to take care of yourself. And so I decided to step out of the business because I was like, I cannot work with that. I love you. You're sweet. You're kind. But my fucking God, please do not go away when it comes to business. Let's just be friends how we are. I cannot work with that energy. I need somebody who I do not have to babysit, who is actually helping me and who I don't have to drag along the way. So again, back in the day when I didn't know myself, I was like, oh no, it's fine. I need this soft energy. No, I need somebody who gets the work done, And this is the point of that I'm saying, trying to tell you about, Tim, about boundaries. I had to establish a boundary in that situation because I'm like, this is definitely not going to work. And so let's be friends, but as far as business, we're not going to work. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with her. There's anything that's wrong with me. It's just, I know we're going to clash. We're going to fight. I just know it. I know myself so well that I can tell. And I'm already getting irked up by things that she's doing. It shouldn't be like that. Yes, you're going to have disagreements and things, but there's a very different energy. It's coming back and it's strong. And I'm just like, no, this is going to go bad. So does that make sense, Tim? I know it's not what you want to hear, but my last breakup rattled me a bit. I made some good friends this year though too. I'm an ambivalent, sorry. So I'm still trying to dial in how much alone time I need. Perhaps I'm not going to as slow as I worry I may be. Again, I don't think it's even about being alone. I think it's the question really, Tim, is like, are you comfortable alone? Are you okay with being alone? Because if the answer is no, then that tells you something. And if the answer is yes, then it also gives you a very different answer, right? I always like to say the story when I met my husband. I was so happy, Yeah, that's the question I might be avoiding. That's okay, Tim. If it's no, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So many people feel that way, and it takes a lot of work to get there. And there's nothing wrong with that, just so you know. It's a natural feeling that most people feel. However, trying to learn to not see it again as, because I think we associate being alone as being lonely, and it's not the truth. Like, I can be alone and I never, ever, ever, ever feel lonely. I used to feel desperately alone. But now I am just so happy to spend time with myself, and I don't need to see people. I mean, I enjoy it, the right people, depending on the situation. But like I said, whenever I met my husband, like by that point, I remember thinking, it's like, I could be single for the rest of my life and be okay with that. I put in a lot of work though. Ain't I healed yet? Oh, we love that one, don't we? It's like, come on, man. Where's my reward? I've worked really hard. Now I deserve Jessica Rabbit as a wife, okay? I get it, dude. I get it. So, see? So, the healing doesn't always, it's not about the ending. It's about the journey. We have to remember that. So, the reward in itself, Tim, is the fact that you've healed. We often want some kind of like, where is my medal? And it doesn't work like that with healing. You will get it eventually, but probably when you don't think about it. That's how you know you've healed. You know you've healed when you don't even like expect a reward. You're just happy to be in the new energy, to be as your new self. So that's what real healing is. So just because you're doing the work doesn't mean you've gotten there yet. And I know it sucks because you're like, dude, how much more do I have to go? It's fucking hard. That's why I always tell people it's like healing is really hard. That's why people don't heal, because they give up. They rather just be miserable. It's much easier. But I promise you, Tim, if you keep going, you will get that reward. But you can't expect it. So shift your focus towards my reward is being at peace with myself. My reward is liking myself. Stop thinking of the reward as something on the outside. The reward is within you. It's something that you feel with yourself. Like I said, with me, it's just like having that thought saying I could be single for the rest of my life and I'd be very happy and content. For me, that was the best feeling on the planet, because prior to that, I was desperate to find a partner. And because I was put all my self-worth into somebody else. True. My grandfather never did take that easy path, and I don't want it either. So I'll choose the hard that heals. Amazing. And again, you got to remember that healing never ends. That's another thing that we get wrong, is when you're expecting that reward, you're like, oh, if I just get to this level, then here's the medal and then that's done. It's like, no, when you understand that healing never stops, it's an ongoing, lifelong process until you die, there's also an acceptance of it and a peace within that. But if you're constantly expecting this reward and expecting like the universe to prove to you, you're going to get disappointed and it's going to let you down. So shift your perspective with this one. You have to really understand what healing really means. It's like onions, layer of the onions, it's never going to stop. Until you're 80, 90, you're going to still be doing the work, hopefully. But there's going to be a peace with that and an enjoyment with that, as opposed to this is painful and it's hard. You hate onions. But does that make sense? It's like you look forward to the healing because you know the reward, even though you don't see it immediately. You understand what it really does. And it becomes a pleasurable process. But when it's still painful, it's because your ego is still very much attached to certain things that you may or may not get. So when you can let go again of that attachments come up a lot today. Like let go of that attachment. It's like I'm waiting for my reward. The reward, like I said, it's the fact that you are doing the work in itself. The fact that you are doing something that many don't even have the balls to do. The fact that you're willing to get better. And it might take years. It might take 2 weeks. But it doesn't matter. And if to the ego matters. It's like, what do you mean? It has to happen tomorrow, And I'm doing that journey as well, and so I still find my ego is like, well, it's my reward month. Like, hello. But then I remind myself of the situation, like, yeah, all right, fine, whatever, So find that bliss in that moment in the work that you're doing and being proud of yourself for actually doing the work, Tim. Yeah, that makes sense. I still struggle with worrying what others think, and I think that's the curse of my boundary issue. Yeah. I've gotten better at saying no a lot more this year, but the journey is ongoing. Absolutely, dude. And I'm sure your life has gotten better because of your boundaries. And sometimes it gets worse before it gets better because you're being challenged, because you're shifting reality from a person who's like yes to everything to suddenly saying no. And all the people in your reality is like, what do you mean no? You've been saying yes up until today. We like the old Tim who does what I want, when I want, and how I want. And you're like, nah, man. This is how I picture you, by the way. It's like, nah, man, that's not happening. Terrible. But you get what I'm saying, right? And so sometimes you're going to get resistance from the outside because they're like, that's not the reality that we know. And so it takes time to shift. But then you notice you stop attracting people who take advantage of you. You stop attracting people who disrespect you. You stop attracting certain things. I mean, the disrespect is always going to be there because that's an ongoing thing. People asking me about my rapid change. I started getting tattoos this year too. She still get one says boundaries and no. So does that make sense though, Tim? So I get the reward thing. This is typical. Everybody falls into that because it's normal. We want the reward. It's hard. No, don't get that tattoo. It's a bad idea. Yeah. So just reflect upon that. And I really encourage you as well. Again, guys, there's so many people who have paved the way before us. There's so many people online that can really help you and help you understand and be an inspiration. For me, I always look to these people because maybe because I have empathic ability, so I can really feel the pain and the suffering and the challenges that they really went through. But it's an inspiration for me because it makes me believe that I can do it too. So that person's done it and they've been through this, man, I can do it too. What did they do? What is the formula? It sometimes is a formula, and follow their formula. It doesn't work. All right, let's try another one. That didn't work. All right, let's go down that way. Whatever you got to do. So, yeah. So just, you got it, man. And you're doing the work, dude. I know at some point with you, you're going to be like, I get it now. It's going to make sense and it's going to click. And I hope you find somebody who really just is kind to you and loving to you and nurturing to you. So that's what you deserve, Tim. And who looks like Jessica Rabbit, apparently. No high expectations here. What do you think, Peanut? Peanut's asleep. He's stopped caring. Cool. All right, guys. So I will take anybody more questions or anything. Feel free before we go. I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter today. I haven't stopped working since early this morning. So, she needs a break. She needs to feed the animals and do all of the things. All of the things, Peanut. But if you guys even have any questions about spirituality or anything at all, feel free. Peanut will be modeling for us as usual. You're working hard, Peanut. See, Peanut knows what hard work is. Look at him. The Peanut story. Okay. So I had a dream the night before that I went to rescue a group of dogs. Something about dogs being mistreated or something. So I had this dream when I went to rescue a pack of dogs. And I woke up in the morning and I was really upset because anything to do with animals in general is super triggering for me. So I went on Nextdoor, which is, the app Nextdoor. Just a great idea first thing in the morning, by the way. And I saw this woman post Peanut. There was a picture of Peanut and I was like, oh, that's a cute dog. And then she was like, I need to get him a home within a week or I have to take him back to the shelter. And I'm like, you are. And so I don't know why I was just revved up because of this dream. And I never thought of doing this before, by the way. I didn't even ask my husband for permission or anything. I was like, you know what? I can foster him. He's tiny, whatever. It's going to make me feel better. So I messaged the woman, was like, hey, I'd be happy to help out. Please don't take him back to the shelter. He's tiny. Let me help out. So she was like, hey, look, I got a few people that are possibly interested. Long story short, we're going back and forth all week. And I thought in the back of my head, I was like, I'm going to end up with this dog. Even though she had several people interested in the dog. She even took it to one. Apparently they were allergic. Another one didn't work out. So long story short, a week later, she literally messaged me that day. She said, can you come and get him now? And I was like, yep. And I turned to my husband. I was like, hey, babe, so we're fostering a dog, by the way. His name is Peanut. And he was like, oh, yeah, what's the woman's name? And I realized her name was Sandy Gill. And suddenly, I was like, isn't your grandfather's name Sandy Gill? And he was like, yeah. So this whole time, it was the weirdest thing. So I didn't realize, it didn't click until that moment. So when I went to pick him up, yeah, he's my husband's family name is Gill. So he was on his paperwork, Peanut Gill. So he was already part of the family. And Sandy Gill was his grandfather. So I always say that his grandfather, we make the joke that he's the grandfather reincarnated as a Chihuahua, even though he was a military man. But I always think that was his grandfather's gift to me. And yeah, his paperwork, he was already a Gill. So, and he clinged to me immediately. So as soon as I went to pick him up, he ran up to me. He literally saw me and he ran to me. He didn't even look back at the woman. He didn't care about the woman that he was with. Clung to me immediately. And then he was a little needy at first because of course he had abandonment issues. He thought I would leave him, and now he's so good. I can leave him at anywhere with anybody and he's fine. But yeah, so he was already a Gil. So the chances of that is insane. Like the fact that the name was exactly the same and I had not clicked. That explains the half pit bull part. Yeah, he identifies as a pit bull. Yeah, and he's just he's very connected to me, obviously, and he's a mama's boy. That's the thing about Chihuahuas. They choose one owner usually that they bond with very strongly. But it was amazing to me how he didn't bond with the woman that he was with before. He didn't even look back, did not care. I took him. He was like, bye, bitch. I was like, oh, God, okay, you did not like her. So he was meant to be with me. Of course, I put a post once and I was like, I can't give him up. My husband already knew. He was like, you're not going to give him up. You're terrible at that. I'm like, yeah, fine, okay. So then we kept you, Peanut. Yeah. I love you. You're the cutest, most beautifulest, most whatever's. Yeah, he's special, all right. That's probably the right word to describe Peanut. So that's the story of Peanut. And then, I have dreams now lately about animals often. I had a dream actually the other night that one of my hamsters was dead. And I already knew he was going to pass, and he had tumors and stuff. And in my dream, though, he was on his back. And then, of course, I came in in the room and I found him literally like it was in my dream. He was on his back, but he died naturally. So at least he had a good life and it was time. But yeah, so starting to have a little bit of premonition dreams again. Isn't that right, Peanut? So that's it, guys. So any more questions before we go? I will try to make it next week at 3. I am filming something next week. I don't know what day it is, though. I have to double check. But I do know that Insane Timer now has changed finally. That we can do lives like, I think 24 hours before now, which is good. So I might do some random ones. No, tomorrow I'm not doing a session. I will, probably next week, next Wednesday. So, yeah. But that's it, guys. All right. Well, let's close out then. So any more thoughts for the day? I would say that the only thing I'm going to leave you guys with is that little practice that I suggested at the beginning of the live, which if those of you who missed it, this has been a very powerful practice that I've been doing that I really love. So whenever you open your bank account, whenever you're dealing with anything with money, paying bills, you want to establish a level of safety within your nervous system prior to doing anything. So what I've been doing lately is every time I'm looking at my bank account, I take a moment and I connect to my heart and I'm resetting my nervous system, telling myself that I am safe to have money, that even if I don't have money, it's going to come to me, whatever the story is, right? But essentially, what is the story that you have? So I'm like, I am safe in my finances. I am worthy of abundance, and it is safe for me to have money. Whatever it is that resonates with you. It could be relationships. It could be anything. And so just establishing that every time before looking at your bank account or before making a payment or whatever, I'm telling you that can be a very powerful nervous reset, and you're subconsciously reprogramming yourself, shifting your belief system in that moment. This is an emotional, spiritual, and physical practice. So the trio is usually one of the most powerful when we want to make some shifts, change something. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. I encourage you to practice it. Don't forget to do it on a regular basis. Of course, you don't do it once and expect miracles. This is like an ongoing practice. I highly, highly recommend you start doing that. And of course, whenever you receive money, whenever you find money or anything, again, thank you, I receive. Thank you, I receive. Thank you, I receive. I'm worthy. It is safe for me for whatever the reason is. So rewire your nervous system around receiving. Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, I'm so grateful for you guys for hanging out today. Thank you so much. It's been such a fun session. I'm so, so grateful for your energy, for your love, for your attention, for the questions. Thank you so much, Tim, for the donation. I'm so grateful. And I cannot wait to hang out with you guys again next week. Peanut is, he's out. He's like, so I'm looking forward to that. And thank you for those of you who just hung around and just watched and shared your energy with me today. I am so, so grateful, guys. So check out my courses, by the way. I have one on quantum wealth, which I tagged below. Heal your money wounds and attract abundance. I have a ton of courses on my Insight Timer, so go and check them out. They're doing really, really well. People usually seem to enjoy them. Of course, can't satisfy everybody, but in general, they do pretty well. So, and my meditations, of course, guys, it's one of my biggest gifts. Is what I do is I create guided meditations. So go and check him out. And with that, guys, I'm sending you so much love, so much light, and I cannot wait to hang out with you again. And as always, have a magical day. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.